Welcome, welcome one and all to the NibletK show. Let's get this party started. It's really late at night. It's actually midnight, a little bit past midnight. So since my show is usually about let's talk slash play Hearthstone, today's show is like the super late night Hearthstone show. It's kind of the same thing, only it's a little bit later in the day. And it kind of has to do with the fact that once in a while I have a late shift, so I have a full week of a late shift, and I get home really late. And I didn't actually manage to stream up until now, so this is kind of like the first really late night stream to see how things are gonna go. If things are gonna go well, we might dedicate like a specific thing we do on this kind of week that doesn't revolve around messing up all of the other schedules that we're gonna have during the other weeks, where the schedule is gonna be like as how should I say it, as perfect as possible, so to say. So let's get to the first news of Hearthstone. Now, I already queued this up, and I know it's not really Hearthstone what we're gonna talk about, but this guy is Reynad, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Maybe it's a little bit too loud.
I'm Reynad. I'm a professional gamer, streamer, CEO of Hearthstone. What you might not know is I'm a game designer at heart. I've been playing and competing in card games my entire life. I've actually been designing games since I was a teenager. I've spent countless hours complaining about card games on Twitter. Because card games were such a big part of over half of my life, I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to make a great one. And that's why I'm making my own card game. There are a lot of great card games out there. If I was going to make a great one that stood out from the pack, I had to go in search of the perfect design. I traveled the world to meet the greatest game designers. I went over mountains, across oceans, through deserts, when finally...
The production is
I should make
awesome.
A deck building game. There's never been a deck building game that's been designed specifically for PC or mobile. A game that takes advantage of all of those digital mechanics that are so fun to play with, but impossible to replicate on a tabletop version. A deck building game is a completely different genre from the type of card game most of you guys are used to. You don't use mana, you don't control creatures that fight your opponent. Instead, you start off with a very small deck full of weak cards. You're buying different cards that make you more powerful, killing monsters that drop rewards, and eventually you try to use that powerful deck that you've built to kill your opponent. That's why I'm excited to announce the Bazar.
Yes!
This isn't just an idea anymore. We have a full team.
This is awesome.
This project, and they've already built a full game engine and hundreds of working cards. It's set in an intergalactic marketplace where a bunch of different cultures and species and people are coming together to trade and barter. Let me tell you about how the game works. You create a brand new deck from scratch every single game that you play. Every turn, you're going to draw 5 cards. Those cards are going to give you money to shop with to make your deck better, or they're going to be weapons that give you attack value. You can send that right to your opponent's face, or you can choose to kill a monster that's going to drop a reward and improve your deck even more. It's not all about making your deck better. It's just as important to make your opponent's deck worse. Some of the monsters that you kill are going to mess with your own game plan. Some of the spells that you play are going to make it harder for them to buy the cards they want to buy. Throughout a game, both players' decks are getting more and more powerful. You're drawing bigger weapons, you're doing more and more damage, and eventually, if you build your deck the right way, you get smacked in the face. There's a lot of different classes in the game that have completely different play styles game to game. The player is going to be confronted with different monsters in front of him, different spells, different items that are all unique to that class that they pick. Even if you're playing the same class over and over and over again, every single game you're building a completely different deck with a completely different strategy. The biggest pain point that I wanted to solve for card game players is that whole pay-to-win model that everyone uses. In my game, you start the game with a couple classes unlocked. Those classes have all the cards in the game for them. Your class is just as balanced as any other. You start with a few classes unlocked, Those classes are
Goblin.
like any other class in the game, and as more classes and
I need the
characters
goblin.
to the game to play with, you have the option of unlocking them, either by spending money or in-game currency. I'm going to be doing the game design, the marketing. I'm even going to voice act some of the cards.
Pinata, take one.
All right, maybe I won't voice act, but I'm going to draw some of the
Jeez.
cards. All right, maybe I won't be doing any of the art. It's important to me that this is a quality game, and that's going to require a lot of time with talented programmers and artists. The money we're raising right now is going to go directly to the game's development. Every single dollar is going to pay the developers, the engineers, and the artists that are going to make this all come together. Those of you that support the project are going to see the progress the entire way through. I plan to post very regular updates about where we are with development, what we're working on, and what it looks like. For every dollar you guys put towards this project, you're going to get 3 times that value in in-game currency. We're also going to send out merch, and we're going to give you some of the actual paper prototypes that I drew at home with Sharpie and blank playing cards. Even if you can't pitch in financially, it'd help a lot if you help spread the word. If you have a friend that's really into tabletop games or deck building games, I really think they'd enjoy this project. Thank you for checking out our game. I'm looking forward to sharing more with you soon.
What the? Oh. Abort, cancel. Why did they put it on his forehead? Why? The pinata better be voice acted by the noodle. So, sorry. Okay. So, I actually like Reynad. He's really good, and he makes up for a good laugh. And I've been talking about Reynad for a few shows, and I really think he's taking the whole IRL thing into a whole new dimension, like for what streaming is all about. We already talked about that, and this is something new. This is something that, most of us are inspired to do. And let's go to the original page, so the Indiegogo page, where you can become a backer for Reynad's card game, the Bazar. And you can go here and you can see exactly what the game is all about. We have a little bit of an overview, how the board might end up looking. Now everything here is subject to change, most definitely. I mean, this is sort of like when you start doing something like a big project, you have doodads and sketches and mock-ups and stuff like that. This is pretty much what you're seeing here at this point, like bits and pieces. But things are going to look something like this. Like, these things already look a whole lot polished. Now, if the art style is going to look anything like this at the end, and if there's also going to be at least a little bit of, let's say, like Hearthstone animation type, with the cards in, Hearthstone animation type embedded into the cards themselves, then that's going to be really cool. And the fact of the matter is, he's doing a deck building card game. So it's kind of cool because you're building your deck while you're playing. So each time, like he said, each time it's going to be different depending on what you do and what kind of resources you gather, what kind of monsters you battle, and stuff like that. So things are always going to be subject to change. It's not like in other card games where you're going to have like a stale meta with specific decks and specific cards and spells that each and every one will play. This thing will be really interesting. So now here we have like a monster, an Arcanite Elder. Killing this grants you 7 coins. Now we don't know exactly if 7 coins is a lot or you know, average or really few coins. We don't know how much coinage you need for certain stuff, but it's still a nice flavor, so you can already see like what kind of things are going to happen. Currency, coin. You have 1 coin to spend this round. Okay, interesting. Now there's the different classes. Wizard, vampire, merchant. Okay. We don't really see like specific art for classes yet. But if that treasure goblin is a class, I really want to play that. Pay to win or pay to play. This is the part where he's probably gonna say that this is a pay to play. I don't know. I don't really get that. It's really friendly, and the way he said it, like he wants to balance things out. So I don't know. If new classes are going to get added into the game, it's interesting to see if you're buying a class and you get like everything with it if you pay for it, or if you can unlock the class in-game and then you have to grind out in-game, you know, currency to fully upgrade or fully have, you know, access to that class specific. So that, you know, that remains to be seen. Artwork is really cool. I mean, in general, if you have a card game and you have pretty decent designers that know how to do you know, stylized art in this sort of way that is a little bit cartoony and not taken too serious, or, you know, too I don't know, too exaggerated in one direction, it's gonna look good. So these are his goals. He's hoping to reach more of them, so that we can actually get this game. And here on the side you can actually see what exactly you will get. Now there are some offers that are, you know, this for instance is 66% off, so instead of $15 you only have to pay $5, and you will get, like he said, when the game launches you will get triple your investment back into in-game currency that you can spend on, you know, buying packs or whatever it is that he's going to have in the game. All you have to do is just get this, and if you don't want to, then you don't want to. All he asks in return is that you do spread the word. So how can you do that? Well, if you're gonna watch me or if you're gonna watch him, might as well hit that follow button, hit that share button on Facebook, on Twitter, all that. If you have a small channel, or if you have a big channel, by all means, make a video about it, talk about it, talk about this with your friends, you know, maybe at school, maybe at work, maybe at home, or whatever it is where you are. Let's see, what other things do we get if you actually decide to help him out. Here you get a Reynad and a pin, which actually looks like a coin, but I don't know what kind of coin that is. So you get the in-game currency, you know, tripled back. Cool. Also, if you invest a little bit more, you'll get the early access unlocked as well. So if you're looking to be one of the privileged ones that can actually play the game in the early access, maybe spread the word even more by streaming it or doing videos on it, then definitely hit at least this sum, you know. And the list goes on and on. I mean, he did say about apparel. That's the t-shirt. What else do you get? This is just the normal early access package. You get a mouse pad if you want more, and Mega Bundle gives you some more items, plus all that other so all the other things up over there. Oh, hello, welcome. And these are only a few, but they do cost a lot. So if you're someone that is really passionate about this, a true Reynad fan as well, and a good card designer, or someone with great ideas, if you meet all of those things, this is maybe something for you. With $1,000 you can actually design a card with Reynad, and it will be in the game, plus you get all that other jazz, the in-game currency back. You're gonna be probably set for a couple of expansions if this thing hits, and it's gonna have expansions. You're probably gonna have a lot of money to spend, like all the time you're gonna be on top of your game with everything that comes out. You get the whole t-shirt, blanket, Reynad, everything that there is. So it's kind of cool. So yeah, that's the Bazar. I'm actually looking forward to it. It looks interesting. I'm hoping this thing comes out as fast as possible, like in a year or two or something like that. At least the early access, because it looks interesting. And Reynad is actually a cool guy, and he has a lot of cool ideas. So yeah, that's that for part 1 of talking about random things.